All right, welcome back. Now, when it comes to reporting, you have a lot of options from charts, but the most common are line graph, pie chart, and bar chart. In which situations you have to apply this, and whether to apply a line graph in the situation or a bar chart, we have to see some of the details. Well, the line graph is used to show the trend analysis, and it is also used for short term or fast fluctuations. For example, the cricket score changes on every ball, and even in the stock markets, the share price opens at a certain amount and then changes after every few seconds. So in that situation, line graph is the most ideal because you cannot draw a bar for each of the small movement. But still, that is not a hard and fast rule because in most of the situations where your data has too much of information, for example, 12 months, then it's better to, show the sales performance over the year in line graph rather than bar chart because you have to insert 12 bars to show the performance month wise. That means line graph is mainly used when you have a lot of data to analyze, and bar chart is used frequently when you have to make the trend analysis. Either it is long-term fluctuations or a report that contains less data. So you have to compare, for example, between four regions, which region is performing better in a whole year. That means you will have just four of them or maybe five of them. So in that situations, bar chart would be ideal. What about the pie chart? Pie chart only shows the percentage of the total contribution of sales, of expenses, how much item A contributed in the sales, for example 11%, and item D has most of the contributions and item D has the same. So that's a little introduction about the charts. Most of you already know what these are. So let's just jump on to our data and apply the chart on our analysis made by pivot tables. So here I have already prepared for you a report from pivot tables of the different products, how much we have sold in each of the month, and we have the data for 2 years. So now we have to apply a chart on it. But first we have to analyze which one would be better. What do you think? I guess the bar chart would be ideal for this. If I go on to the Analyze tab and just select Pivot Chart is same like normal charts. So I can just click anywhere in the pivot table, go to Analyze tab, click on Pivot Chart. I have a lot of options here. What I have seen in that example, in the starting charts explained, that we have only 3 of them, but we have a lot of them. Even in the bar chart, we have 2 categories, bar chart and column chart. So that's not a big deal. Column is just the vertical charts of the bars and bar chart is just the horizontal one. But what about this? Clustered column, stacked column. There you have 100% stacked. So you have a lot of different options. Let's just apply clustered column. And there you have your report available. But do you think that is just fine? No, because it's overcrowded. We have a lot of information that is plotted into the graph. So what we want to do is first analyze which of the things that you don't need to insert in one chart, that is 2 years. 2 years should never be represented in one chart if you have to analyze by months. So what I will do is I can just filter this chart and uncheck all and say I want the report only for 2014, and there you have a better looking chart. But still it is overcrowded. Why? Because we have 5 products and it is creating one separate line or bar for each of the products. That means even in one single month, we have 5 products, 5 bars to analyze from. So we only wanted to see who is the main contributor in, for example, October. So we can see that Logic is the main contributor which has the most of the sales, and Traveler's sales is quite less. But there is no need for 5 of them. What I need to do is create one bar, and you can divide it in a portions color wise so that you can see the performance of each area. Don't need to delete this. Just click anywhere in the blank chart and right click, go in change chart type, and then you can change from clustered column to stack column. And there you can see that it has combined all the 5 bars in one bar, and even now you can see the performance. There is one other scenario, since you can see the movement, the high points, the low points. So if I started a new business with a unique idea, so I know that by the end of the year I will make a lot of sales because I will get the first mover advantage as my product is very unique in the market. So obviously there were some hurdles, and in January I made only 20,000. But by the end of this year I made $2 billion because that was an awesome idea. But if we have something like that, we know that any of the chart will not work. Even the bar chart, line graph, because it is a huge movement from 0 to the top. That means that the jumps or levels defined by Excel automatically will have too much of the gaps or differences. That means all the analysis, this bar will remain just in this area, and you can't even read what analysis it is making. I'll show you the example. If I go on to the basics, if I move on to my sheet and change the value of December to a much greater amount, something like this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 figures. Okay, and if I move on to my chart and right click and refresh the data, you can notice that the sales in December for a particular product is much higher, and the levels are automatically jumped from huge differences. So when we see the other comparatives, it is approximately nothing in comparison with this, and since it is not a huge values, we cannot even read this analysis. So that means in these situations you need to change the chart type. At least you can see what is the main contributor in each month sales, which product is the main contributory, even in the percentages. So I will just click anywhere in the blank chart, and I can right click, go in change chart type, and that's why you use 100% stack column. That means all the levels or performance in each month will be shown according to the percentage of the totals. So that is the most common report which is used by companies in data analysis and final reporting. So that was the main part, and in the next video we will see some other charts like pie chart, line graph, and complete our whole completed dashboard.